Welcome, everybody, to Supernatural: The Crossroads. I'm your host, Thomas Cowley, and joined with me today is Michael Flores for a special Patreon edition videocast where we're going to be talking about Season 13 as a whole and the anchors it has set throughout the season, where it's gone for the first half, where it's going for the second half, and kind of where we stand at this point. Now, nearly all of Season 13, there have been various little elements that have been thrown in to keep us interested, to introduce new ideas, new threats, and to keep us coming back, especially after winter break. There was a lot of different things moving forward. We talked, I think, several times about how Jack in this season felt like the pillar upon which everything else was circling. So many different elements moving around it and one central idea. But since the winter break, we've kind of had a different shift. And I think we've kind of narrowed down exactly why that has happened.
It's been hard to keep track what the actual myth arc is.
Yeah.
And I know that the myth arc has become kind of a loose theory within the writing room over the last 2 years.
Sadly, yeah.
Well, some shows can do it, but they still need those anchors.
I don't think Supernatural's ever been a show that's gravitated towards not doing
the show. No, that's definitely a different writing style than we've seen in the past, for sure.
And in this episode, we're going to talk about what some of those anchors look like, where things have gone,
and why the first season was actually the first half of the season was so tight and well structured because of these anchors that were introduced.
So we've got a list here. The first being the Wayward Sisters setup, the idea of the spin-off show and moving towards that. The second is Jack and his introduction, his plot relevance to the entire season. The third is the idea of the alternate worlds, the alternate dimensions. The fourth is Billy as Death, her return, and the bigger picture that somebody else besides what Jack has witnessed knows about the multiverse. Then we've got Sam and Dean, their element, how they're always in the show, but what is their direct line to this, especially with Mary and trying to get her back. We've got Ketch with his redemption arc in this season. And we've got Asmodeus and the Shadim. And these are the main points. That's not everything.
Yeah, we don't have Asmodeus no more. But
which is shocking that we have 7 different things going forward for this season so far.
Now, these are just the ones that I feel...
The main ones, I think.
These are the ones that I feel like are the actual anchors.
Yeah. This isn't talking about Lucifer, additional angels, Rowena,
Castiel,
the empty. I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
So, looking at the first one, and what kept the season so strong, we think, for the first half, is definitely the deliberate march towards the Wayward Sisters spinoff. It directly influenced how they set things up throughout the first half of Season 13. By the third episode, we've got the introduction of Patience, a new character with new abilities, who's directly related to somebody Sam and Dean know, bringing back Jody Mills, and the idea that this is where they want to move things forward. You don't have to be into the idea of the Wayward Sisters to acknowledge the fact that this has kept the first 9, 10, even 11 with breakdown episodes of the season cohesive. It's kept them tight. We have to put these pieces into place in order to get to the certain end goal.
Yeah, and that's an argument that I had with a couple people on social media when I kind of dropped this idea that the reason why the first half of the season was so strong was because there was an urgency to get, there was an end goal that they had to hit. It was the season, it was the mid-season premiere. The pilot was going to happen when they come back from winter break, and it couldn't be another Bloodlines where they just drop an episode on us that really had no bearing or relevance to the current season. That just marred Season 9. To this day, people wonder why they had this black hole of a vortex episode that just kind of sucked you in for no reason, and then there was no closure. So they had to write a purpose for the first half, and it doesn't matter. The point isn't that Wayward Sisters was great. You don't have to like Wayward Sisters, the actual backdoor pilot, but the fact that the writers had an end game. They had 9 episodes, Thomas, to introduce an idea, make it feel seamless, and work.
Set up characters
and make it work within the Season 13 story. And because of that, combined with the element of Jack, which also took up a large portion the first half, you suddenly had a season that was very well thought out and it was structured accordingly.
And it gave this idea gave the show, like you said, a deliberate end in mind.
Yeah.
It gave it a unified vision and the idea that they can't deviate from this plan. There's no time to shift things around. There's no time to throw in random one-off episodes. You've got to stick to the points that matter. And it gave the show structure. It's a roadmap. You have to hit this point. If you can't hit these gas stations, you will not make it across the country.